Hold up, why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bet.
Welcome back, y'all. This is the Miscellaneous Minds podcast. I'm your host, Jesus Dinero, here with my co-host,
Puma El Gato.
What do we got going on tonight, my man?
The mega fight is finally happening. Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Bud Crawford. Let's talk about it.
So, this past weekend, in a pretty much boring fight between William Scull and Canelo Alvarez, we saw what is gonna be coming this September. We got Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford both in the ring, both face to face, basically making it official that they are gonna be fighting this September. Now, we were actually watching a couple videos before we jumped on, trying to gather our thoughts as to what we believe is gonna happen for the future, what's gonna happen to see which side we're leaning towards picking. And listen, man, if we see the Canelo we saw this past weekend against William Scull, I think he's gonna lose. I always try to be fair and firm about these positions that I hold, and if I'm being 100% honest, that Canelo did not look great. Now, Canelo said it in the interview after the fight. He hates fighting these types of guys because they don't go in there to fight. And listen, I saw a number of people, including some boxing experts, saying, I never want to see William Scull in a ring again because the man didn't do anything. It's one thing as a technical boxer, if you go in there and you're a slick fighter and you slip some and then you jab and you slip some and you counter and you slip some, well, that's fine. He wasn't doing any of that. He was literally on his bike basically the entire 12 rounds running around the ring. He wasn't looking to engage. The times that he did engage, it was very little. Even the referee got in at one point and said, hey, man, pick it up. We need to see some action. So I want to take a little bit of that off of Canelo's plate because that wasn't his fault. Canelo was looking to engage. You just couldn't catch him. But that's actually to one of the major things, the footwork, cutting off the ring and all that. That's going to definitely be in Bud Crawford's favor. There's a number of different things that we were both talking about. Crawford has the speed. Crawford probably has the combinations. He has the punch volume, all that good stuff in his benefit, especially if this same Canelo shows up. I do favor Bud Crawford in that aspect. But if the Canelo that we've seen of yore, with the Canelo that fought the Triple G's, the Canelo that fought Danny Jacobs, the Canelo that fought Caleb Plant, so on and so forth, if we see that Canelo, I think Canelo stands a pretty good chance of winning. In fact, if that Canelo were to show up, I'd be favoring Canelo over Crawford. Now, don't get me wrong. In his move up to 154, Crawford won, and I include myself in this, a very questionable victory against Madrimov, sorry. I do believe Crawford won the fight, but just barely. And I mean just barely against Madrimov. And again, that is 2 weight classes below where Canelo's at now. You know, in that fight, Madrimov landed some punches, some straights down the middle that kept Crawford honest and kept him at bay. And again, that's 2 weight classes below Canelo. So if Canelo lands something decent, I believe that could make Crawford slow down. And if Crawford slowed down, that's where he's going to start to lose. Because as I said a second ago, the volume, the speed, that kind of stuff are things that Crawford has in his pocket. But if Canelo can take those things away from him, Crawford's in for a long, tough night. That being said, let's keep it a buck here. A number of individuals have said it. A number of Canelo's opponents have said it. A number of Crawford's opponents have said it. Clearly, Canelo's going to be coming in with the power. He's going to be the one that is going to be trying to bully Crawford, so to speak. And normally, Crawford's the bully in a lot of his matches. So I think that it's going to be a difficult night for both fighters, depending on which version of them shows up. There's a number of things to talk about, obviously, with Crawford moving up. If he moves up to 168, which we're not doing, he's got more weight to carry on him. You know, a little bit of a harder time moving around. That slows you down. It's happened in every single fighter that's moved on up. It's harder to move just because you're carrying that around that additional weight. So there's a number of things that can slow Crawford down. On top of that, he's 3 years older than Canelo. So there's that age factor. There's so many things that at this juncture I could bring up on why either Canelo might win or Crawford might win. But just based on the last 2 performances that I've seen from each individual fighter, at this point, I have it 60-40 in the favor of Bud Crawford. I think Crawford has enough tools that he could reach for, speed, volume, combination, footwork, all that type of stuff that can make it maybe even an easy night for Crawford. But again, I tell this to people all the time: never count a boxer out, especially a boxer like Canelo, because yes, Canelo obviously was always known as the power puncher, but as his career has gone on in age, he's become a little bit more of a counter puncher, a little bit more of a slow down and pick your spots fighter, which it can be both good and detrimental for him because his volume has gone down, which I think is going to hurt him if he doesn't bring that volume up against Crawford. At the same time, he's landing a lot of crisp punches against people. So it just depends, man. At this point, listen, I was originally not interested in a fight. Go back and watch the videos where we talked about it. I didn't want to see it. I think based on both of their performances recently, they've gotten closer to, in my eyes, in their skill set. Canelo's become a little bit more tactful, which he wasn't always. And Crawford has done not so phenomenally against higher weight opponents. Again, Madrimov. So I think it's a lot closer of a fight now than it was before. Before I would have it 90-10, 90 in favor of Canelo. Now I have it 60-40 in favor of Crawford. So it's going to be interesting as the fight gets closer. Obviously, you know, right now we're in May, so we're 4 months away. We'll start to see more work from them, a little bit more, hopefully, of their training. Hopefully, we see a speeder, Canelo, you know, so on and so forth. So I might change my opinion. But at this juncture, just based on what I saw this past weekend, it's not looking great for Canelo. But listen, we'll see how it goes, man. We'll see how it goes. I think it's going to be a good fight no matter what. But what do you think about that, my man?
This is an absolutely tough fight from the outside for me to judge on. But a couple of things that I wanted to bring up for Crawford's game plan going into the fight with Canelo Alvarez. No, we've seen Canelo Alvarez go up against the heaviest punchers that we've ever seen. And even the heavy puncher in Dimitri Bivol that was one weight class above him and still took most of his shots, and Canelo just didn't waver whatsoever. The man has an absolute iron chin. We've even seen Edgar Berlanga that had a free shot, a free unguarded Canelo Alvarez real estate right here on the chin. Canelo Alvarez put his hands down because he misheard there was a 10-second ring count. He misheard it, what that actually was. He thought the round was over. Edgar Berlanga got one free punch, one golden ticket to bring Canelo Alvarez down, and Canelo Alvarez took it literally on the chin and absolutely nothing, completely unfazed him. So we've seen dynamic punchers go up against Canelo. One of them even got a free shot and still nothing. Which brings me to my point that Crawford, for Crawford to win, a knockout's going to be out of the question. Now, granted, if it does happen, I'll be surprised, and you know what? Pleasantly so. But I don't think if we're gonna be realistic here, it's not gonna be in his game plan. I don't think it's prudent for Crawford to be even thinking about a knockout victory, even a technical knockout victory from Crawford. I do think if we're gonna be pragmatic, we're gonna be realistic about Crawford's chances in this. The one thing that he has over Canelo, outpunch him, outlast him all 12 rounds. That is the best option that Crawford has going into this matchup with Canelo. Now, for Crawford's benefit, the man is absolutely excelling in ring IQ. I would even go as far as say that his ring IQ is better than Canelo Alvarez's in ring IQ in the ring. And I do think even reaction-based fighting, especially if the boxer that Terence Crawford is playing absolutely defensively, Terence Crawford has a built-in protractor in his head. He will try every single angle under the umbrella to try and get at least one good punch in. The man will not stop. Which, to his credit, I do think Crawford can at least beat Canelo in as far as stamina goes. I do think he has a possibility to outlast him 12 rounds, but it needs to be a picture-perfect 12 rounds in order for that to happen. Crawford needs to execute an Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12 level of bank heist planning in order for him to absolutely best Canelo. Canelo Alvarez also cannot afford to have any flaws. If he slips up like he did basically with the last fight against William Scull, where he just let it all out there and having the lowest punch volume in boxing history now, I do think Crawford can absolutely outclass Canelo if given the chance. Canelo just can't give him that chance whatsoever. I do think if we're going to be realistic here, Crawford has to have the picture-perfect plan in order to pull this off. Canelo, all he has to do is just stonewall Terence Crawford, and this will be a Canelo win. But that being said, you said 60-40. I'm actually going to put it 53-47. And 53 going in the favor of Crawford in this matchup, personally for me. I think it's going to be a little bit more razor thin, but I do think Crawford does have the chances for this. But he needs to have the picture-perfect plan in order to pull this off.
Yeah, you know, I believe it was Deontay Wilder that said it. he needs to be perfect all night. I need to be perfect for 1 second. Meaning, essentially, yes, if Canelo lands a good punch, which he landed on plenty of fighters, a lot of slick fighters, Danny Jacobs and the such, that could be the end of the night for Terrence Crawford. That being said, listen, I think Terrence Crawford is just slick enough, just quick enough, just speedy enough to where he can avoid all that. But listen, we'll see, man. Again, we're still 4 months away from the fight. Training camp hasn't even started for either one of these guys. So, we've got a long road ahead of us. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But listen, man, at this juncture, you heard my man here saying it. He's got a 53-47. I have a 60-40 in favor of Crawford right now. Again, I'm, for the most part, just in this initial review, just basing it off the recent performances by both of these guys. Even though Crawford's win over Madrimov was just barely, and Canelo's win over Scull was unanimous, I just don't think Canelo looked good, obviously, and I think there was a lot of, you could see it, that he's slowing down, and that's why I'm personally picking Crawford as of right now. But we'll see. We'll see. It'll be interesting to watch, especially the build-up, especially when we actually get there, man. It's going to be an intense day, and I'm not lying. I'm probably going to have a heart attack and a half, watching the fight, because it's going to be one of those where you're gripping your teeth, man. You're just sitting on the edge of your seat waiting to see what happens. But listen, it is what it is. We'll obviously bring you that fight. We'll let you guys know what we think. And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and
Until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you in the next one.